What is going on, you guys? Ryan from WodFigs here, and well, we're 1 week removed from San Diego Comic-Con, and it seems like the community's reaction, for the most part, has been pretty positive. Of course, in my last video, we discussed what I wanted to see and what we could also possibly see at San Diego Comic-Con, and for the most part, I think Mattel delivered this year. Of course, not everything was perfect. I mean, the updated articulation on the basics are pretty disappointing, and sure, there were some figures that definitely didn't meet the fans' expectations, but overall, I would say this year was a success for Mattel. In today's video, we're going to go over my personal favorites of mine that I saw at San Diego Comic-Con in a top 10 format. I'll be listing which figures I'm personally most excited for, and I think have the potential to be the best figures that we saw when they come out. But before we get into the top 10, and because there were just so many figures shown at San Diego Comic-Con, I want to do some honorable mentions of figures that didn't make my top 10. Feels like we saw hundreds of new figures, and unfortunately I can only pick 10 of my favorites, so I'm going to go ahead and do some honorable mentions right now. The first honorable mention is going to come from the NXT series, and I'm not 100% sure if these are basics or if they're a battle pack set. I'm not sure, but it is the Authors of Pain. I did in my prediction videos talk about how I wanted to see them in elite form, but we are seeing them at least in basic form. But it is really nice to actually see them. Would have obviously preferred elites, but the only real issue that I have with these guys and why they didn't make the list is just because the arms and the hands kind of look a little bit weird for them. I mean, they are really big guys. I think they should get some bigger arms, which usually is the opposite with Mattel, and people should get smaller arms. But I'm still going to put them as an honorable mention, and I'm wondering if they're going to come, if they ever get elites with the updated NXT titles, because unfortunately we did not see those or even any of the updated NXT titles at San Diego Comic-Con, so I'm hoping that eventually happens. Then my second honorable mention, which maybe some people think would actually be on the top 10, it's Kurt Angle from the Entrance Greats series, and I'm just disappointed because we didn't really see the era that I personally prefer him in. I know there are a lot of people who are a fan of a debut era Angle, but I was personally looking forward to an Angle with the bald head. Even if it was a GM Angle, that would have been fine. I do think the head scan, even if it is a Cena reskin, which I've seen people throw around, has a really good likeness to Angle. I would have put him on the list. Also, had it been an elite, I feel like that could have helped. And a lot of people were freaking out about like the deco and the knee pads and elbow pads on this figure, but it's just a prototype. I think even Bill said in Ringside's interview that the knee pads and the elbow pads are going to come separate, but they were just painted on for the prototype. It's hard to judge the figure just because it's in such an early stage of production, and it probably won't even come out till early 2018. But unfortunately, I just was looking for a different Kurt Angle, and he did not make my list. Then my third honorable mention is going to be James Ellsworth, and this was super close, just like my next one, to making the actual list. But unfortunately, they are just figures I'm looking more forward to than James Ellsworth. Just looking at the render, looks like he's getting an exclusive body mold and arms, it looks like, which is really awesome. It's not that common that you would see guys, especially from Mattel, to get individual exclusive parts. But in his case, he's about half as skinny as anybody on the roster. Something interesting also to point out is that in the render, looks like they just took like the shirt picture from WWE Shop and just put it on there, and I'm not sure if that's because he's going to be getting a cloth shirt, because I know Carl Anderson as well, who I'll be talking about later, also had this same thing where the shirt was just rendered on there, like from WWE Shop, so I don't know what the deal with that is, but I'm looking forward to Ellsworth a lot, and I do give props to Mattel for going all out on this Ellsworth and not reusing any parts like a Daniel Bryan, which they could have easily done. Really cool to see that he got his own exclusive parts. And then my final honorable mention is Ty Dillinger. The figure itself looks really nice from the render, and I'm really happy with the attire they chose. It definitely differentiate himself from the other figures, because there really aren't that many that wear that sort of shade of purple or pink or whatever it is. I'm also super glad that they chose the parts they did. I think the Bryan torso does work really well for him. You could argue that maybe he deserves a bigger torso, but with Mattel, you've got like that Daniel Bryan torso mold, and then like the Road Dogg torso mold, and then after that it's just like super ripped in terms of like, you know, discluding like the Big Show torso and everything. For smaller guys like Ty and even Finn, compared to like, you know, Triple H and stuff. It's hard to choose a torso that works best. But with Finn, obviously, I go with the ripped one because he's that big. But I think there should maybe be a new mold that mixes like the length of like a Sandow torso, but the mold doesn't have like those like overly ripped abs that the Sandow one does. I don't know, it's kind of off topic, but I really do like the Ty figure, and unfortunately, he was not able to make the list. Coming in at number 10, we've got Bobby Roode. Now, this kind of goes against what I was saying about Dillinger, but Ty will probably be a better figure than Roode when it's all said and done, because Roode is obviously only a basic. Put Roode on the list because I actually really think the head scan looks accurate, and I don't mind the torso they used for him. I'm excited to hopefully get a future elite in the NXT line, and I'm happy that we got to see a basic, which shows that they're actually making one. At least we're getting a head scan, though, that's good, that we'll be able to make custom elites out of. Again, I am really hoping that we do get a Bobby Roode from the Chicago TakeOver with hopefully a cloth robe like the Ric Flair one, although I'm sure that's pretty unlikely. Still, though, really nice to see a Bobby Roode. He comes in at number 10. Coming in at number 9, we've got The Revival, and I'm really happy to see that we saw elites of them at the show. Like I said in my last video, I believe a while ago, it was leaked that we were going to get Elite Revival, and it's really nice to see them. The only real gripe I have with them, other than the NXT titles, which I know Mattel probably couldn't get out in time, is that they didn't come with their entrance jackets, at least in rubber. I would have obviously loved to see them in cloth, so I was a little bit disappointing. It really does feel like the figures are missing out something, but I'm honestly just happy we're getting elite versions, and this is why they came in at the number 9 spot. Coming in at number 8, we've got TJ Perkins, and I actually completely forgot about TJ, or TJP as he's now known, when making my last video. He sort of just went from hero to zero on the main roster, and it's sad because I think there's a large amount of people that dislike him. I don't know why he has so much hate, but I think he's a really good wrestler, and he went from the top really to the bottom pretty quickly. I mean, I enjoyed him in the CWC, and to have him in his Filipino-inspired attire with the CWC medal and the first updated Cruiserweight Championship is really nice. The figure does look like him. The head skin is nice. I think they chose the best attire for him personally. Really looking forward to getting this. TJP comes in at number 8. At number 7, we finally get a flashback Batista, which is really great to hear because until this point we never got an elite flashback Batista, and this one looks super duper sick. I'm really happy they chose this red attire because all of Batista's previous elites besides the blue Batista all have black trunks, so it's good that they differentiated this one in the red. I also love this head scan. They've used it before. It's amazing. The World Heavyweight Championship, the big gold belt, it's nice to finally get a return and see that. I have a couple and they really fade quickly. The paint just chips super easily. I don't know if that's just me, but that happens to me a lot. And also he comes with the contract, which is pretty cool. Really nice looking figure. I'm glad to be getting this. I should have mentioned him in my previous video about San Diego Comic-Con because he was one of my bigger wants in terms of a flashback. I was wondering if we were ever going to see a flashback Batista. I had forgotten he was even under contract with Mattel because I feel like we haven't seen an elite of him in forever. But this flashback Batista comes in at number 7. At number 6, we get our first look at the actual figures of the Elite Club, and it's been a while in the making. They debuted over a year ago, but what I'm guessing took or maybe pushed back the release dates a little bit is the change in Carl Anderson's attire, because of course this Anderson is coming in the long tights, and when he first debuted he stuck to his normal trunks like he wore in New Japan, and I don't think he started wearing the tights till maybe like a month or two after they debuted, maybe even a little later, but I'm happy to at least be seeing these. These are going to be really awesome. Gallows looks really nice. Like I was talking about earlier with Ellsworth, Carl Anderson just has like a digital render of the WWE Shop Club t-shirt, which is pretty interesting. I'm not sure if that means he's going to be getting a cloth one with just like Ellsworth or whatever that means, but still really nice to finally see these guys. I feel like we've been waiting a while to see them. The Club comes in at number 6. Coming in at number 5, finally the top 5, we've got DIY, and again I'm not sure if these are a battle pack or if they are basics, but I am putting them together because obviously they were a tag team, unfortunately not anymore. It is so great to see figures of both of these guys. Johnny Gargano is one of my personal favorite wrestlers, so to see him in figure form is pretty nice. The reason why they weren't higher is because I don't think Gargano's head scan was that great. I feel like it needs a little bit of work. Tommaso looks great, but I think there have even been custom head scans better than Gargano. It's really not the best. Also, the attires are really nice. Happy to see these guys. They come in at number 5. Coming in at number 4, we have, I believe the Backlash is what attire it was, Alexa Bliss. This might be one of the best looking women's figures of all time. The sculpt all over the attire is absolutely amazing. The head scan looks really, really great, as well as the sort of glove things that she wears, which are going to be removable. Bill said it himself in the ringside interview that this could possibly be the best women's figure they've ever made, and I absolutely agree. I'm glad they made this attire. The figure looks really, really amazing, and I can't wait to get it to replace my NXT Alexa Bliss. But she comes in at number 4. Top 3 here, and at number 3, we have an updated Elite Neville with the Cruiserweight Championship. The head scan looks absolutely amazing. Also really nice to see, just like TJP, that Neville is indeed getting a Cruiserweight Championship. I was a little bit disappointed we didn't see the WrestleMania 33 attire. However, I'm hoping we see it sooner because it was a really nice attire in the gold. I had that in my previous video as a figure that I wanted to see. But to get an updated Neville in general is really cool. I'm hoping they fix the issue with the last Elite with the painted thighs. As you guys know, underneath Neville's knee pads, he has that black knee tape, and Mattel decided, instead of just painting those black on top of the normal skin tone, I believe the plastic that they used for the legs were actually black, and then they painted the skin tone all on the leg, which caused a lot of chipping, which I know a lot of people had issues with. So I'm hoping they fix that and they don't do that again. But Neville comes in at number 3. And at number 2, it's the WrestleMania 33 AJ Styles, and I actually called this being the Big Book Toys R Us exclusive, which what I was hoping it was going to be, which I believe the deal is something like you spend $30 on figures and you get this AJ for free, or you could just buy it. Maybe the deal is something like that, but I'm happy we're getting the WrestleMania 33 AJ Styles. It looks incredible. The attire wasn't the best, but in figure form it looks absolutely beautiful, and not to mention they actually painted inside the gloves, it looks like, what his design has inside of his gloves, which is really, really nice. But honestly, any Elite AJ Styles is super duper awesome. I'm upset they never made the WrestleMania 32 version of AJ, but they definitely made it up here with the WrestleMania 33, and he comes in at number 2. And at number 1, who would have actually guessed it, right? We've got the debuting Epic Moment series, Jeff and Matt Hardy, the Hardy Boys. Jesus Christ, do these figures look absolutely amazing. We have been waiting 7 years for another Jeff Hardy because obviously the Elite one was not released to the public. And now we get our look at the first official Jeff Hardy Elite, as well as another Matt Hardy returning to the line. We'll start first with Matt, or actually the accessories, because they both come with Raw Tag Team titles, and it looks like a ladder. I'm not sure if it's 2. There are 2 pictured. I'm pretty sure they're just going to come with 1, though. The tag belts look great, of course. This actually reminds me a lot of their TNA, I believe it was a ringside 2-pack with the ladder and the TNA tag titles. I think that's what they came with. I could be wrong, but it is really nice to see an Elite 2-pack, which is amazing for the Hardys. Matt himself looks absolutely incredible. The head scan looks really great, and I hope that actually comes to life in the actual figure, and it looks just as good in person. The attire is really nice. Of course, these are their WrestleMania 33 attires. Jeff as well looks really, really good. It looks like they might have used the Dean Ambrose mold again, or the original Jeff Hardy mold, but just painted it up a little bit differently from what I can tell. But of course, his attire looks really, really nice, again, from WrestleMania 33. I cannot wait to get these. These are probably going to be the most sought out figures of all time. But that's gonna do it. Again, San Diego Comic-Con was absolutely amazing. Thanks to Mattel for putting on a great show. We saw some absolutely amazing figures, and Mattel did an absolute great job. So let me know down below what figures you guys are gonna get when they come out and what you're most looking forward to. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and as always, stay tuned to the next one.